let's move on to another question. So this is a question about referral programs. Simple question. What are some ways to improve referral programs? And so this could probably refer to like Exhibitor referral programs or Exhibitor invite programs, maybe sponsor invite programs, speaker ones, maybe even like membership referral programs or attendee referral programs. Maybe people can chat in if there's people here on the show who use referral programs of one type or another, just so we kind of have a sense of how many people in the audience are running or are considering running or have run a referral program of one type or another. But this question is basically how to improve the performance of referral programs. So I have a couple thoughts.
Go for it.
So similar to the last point, I think there's, again, just activating the channel of a referral program does not mean that the program will be successful. I think it needs to be something that's compelling to the people who are making the referrals. It can't feel like, hey, do us a favor, please. We'll be so grateful. I mean, like, you know, in the end, you are asking somebody to do something that is not required of them, right? Like, a member does not have to refer another member to your association, and same thing for an event attendee or an exhibitor. But I think it should come across as something that is compelling to that person, and that makes them want to act on it. And so, you know, there's a couple of ways to get to that point, but I just like, as a framework, I think that's an important thing to keep in mind is like, how do we craft the referral program in such a way that it feels like we are giving the people who are asking to do referrals for us more value than we're asking for. And so I think there's some ways that are maybe not super creative, a little bit straightforward to do that, like, you know, and it lines up with what those different parties care about. So if I'm an exhibitor or a sponsor for an annual event, then I care about visibility. I care about lead gen, you know, coming to that event. I care about my overall kind of presence and the impression that the attendees of that event have of me and my brand. And so just kind of leverage that thing that you know about that party to give them incentives that are aligned with what they care about. So maybe if I'm an exhibitor, one of the things that I care about is how many staff I can bring to be at my booth.
Right.
Maybe I bought a 10 by 10, and so I get 3 passes or 4 passes or something, but I'd like to bring 5 or 6 salespeople. And so if you're running your referral programs in such a way that you can track them, because ideally they're run digitally, then you can give exhibitors, for example, a bonus pass, sales pass, for every X number of registrations that they send you, and you can track that. And members, I mean, everyone will have their own best pulse on what their members care about most. But depending on the organization, some members might be really heavily weighted towards caring about ongoing education, and some might be more interested in things like professional networking or like career opportunities. And some might be both, and so, you know, everyone will have a mix, but you'll have your own sense about what your members care about most. And so you can create an incentive for participation that lines up with that desire. And so if I'm a very education-focused association, and I know that my members are primarily members for my educational resources, then maybe I can provide, you know, free access to some paid educational opportunities if those members refer a certain number of member leads to me, for example. And so that's one kind of like very simple idea, but again, I think something that, you know, most of marketing is actually, when it comes down to it, simple, but the execution is the hard part, and the follow-through is the hard part, and the ongoing management is the hard part, I'm realizing. And so treat your referral program, approach it from the lens of how can I make the referral program so compelling to the audience that I'm asking to refer that it feels like they're getting more value than they're giving.
Right.
And I think incentives that line up with what those different parties care about is a good way to do that. So I'm not sure if anything else kind of comes to mind for you.
Yeah, I would echo that. I see when we do incentive programs, you know, we've done a lot of different versions for customers, and it's they work better when the incentive is aligned with the actual exhibitor booth space or the speaker slot, right? So instead of doing like a $25 gift card or some kind of random freebie from a vendor, making it aligned where VIP upgrades is great, because these people that are going to be going to the event, then they're going to get more value, more lead gen, a better experience overall. That is enough to move the needle a lot of times. Making it a generous offer to actually motivate people to share is important. So I would agree.
The other one I think is just, and you've probably seen this, is just like consistency of the promotion of the program. And like leaderboards, so like make it competitive if you think your partners are going to respond to that.
So like actually call out, you know, the sponsors or exhibitors or speakers on your social channels who are doing best, that are, you know, bringing in the most registrations. Give them free promotion during the promotional period. So competition
maybe
is
in an
huge.
email too, like a weekly update email.
Weekly update of who's in the lead. Absolutely. And really, the earlier that your partners know about the program, the more time you have to iterate also and receive feedback from them and make sure they're educated on the program. And then you can change up the incentives if you are getting signals of feedback. And so trying to launch a last minute referral program a lot of times falls flat because you're just kind of shooting in the dark.
You only have one direction available just because you have such little time to work on it. The other thing I'd say on this is it's tied to the point I made, but like, what is the offer or the benefit to that person in addition to the incentive that you're giving them? Because there is one, and I think it's just about making it visible. So if you think about it, I often think about designing a marketing campaign from the lens of what would the landing page for this campaign look like, and what would the headline be, as a leading kind of thought exercise for what should the communication around this be? So for example, if you had a landing page that was about, we'll stick with Exhibitor referral program for an annual meeting. A headline could be, join our referral program for XYZ conference or expo 2020, right? That is a headline, right? And that headline would be kind of like informationally accurate, and it would be the call to action that you ultimately care about as the marketer running that program. But that is like completely devoid of any kind of benefit to the exhibitor. You know, something along the lines, I think, which is in the direction of what you might want to do, is think about what is the benefit to the person taking action in regards to this. So like a headline could be like, meet more of your customers, prospects, and opportunities at XYZ Expo 2020, right? Because that is a point of value to an exhibitor who's getting their own audience to come to your event, is that more of their own audience is there, and they'll have more pre-booked meetings from their own audience at the event. And so it's just again, like maybe a little bit of a framing thing of like, to be in the shoes of your audience in that case, to think about the benefits that they care about, and to like write your subject line in your announcement emails and your headlines in your emails, and a headline on your landing page if you're building a landing page for this, from the perspective of like, what is the hook for...
what's in it for them.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I like that idea. Thinking through a campaign, what's the landing page?
What's the landing page?